Newsletter number 3, how I'm combating the push to a contactless society. I'm Scott Groves with the Scott's Thoughts newsletter. Don't forget to subscribe at www.scottsthoughts.com. How a little bit of luck, lots of hard work, and the concepts of micro-communities created a thriving mortgage career, and how these concepts can help any sales professional. In the newsletter, you would see a picture of me trying to squeeze in at a selfie. At the time of making this terrifying face, the picture was pretty horrific, I was attempting to squeeze 50 realtors from Nashville into frame, and boy, did I fail. This group had invited me out to Nashville for an afternoon workshop. I spoke with them about the 3 mega trends that are changing the business world right now. But for today, for my readers, I have a question. What are you willing to fight for in your life? Or more accurately, what are you willing to fight back against? Strangely, people are generally willing to fight harder against something that they see as a negative, as an injustice, versus fighting for something that they see as a positive. For example, when I was writing this original newsletter, I was consuming some unhealthy chemicals in the form of a Diet Coke. I know that this drink is not particularly healthy for me. I know I should stay disciplined and drink more water. But there I was, sipping a refreshing Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke. I can't remember which one. I think it was a Diet Coke. Trust me, if you want to enjoy a Diet Coke from time to time, do not do a Google search about what chemicals are found in diet sodas. Definitely do not ask ChatGPT about the industrial applications of where these chemical compounds originated from. Ending my addiction to Diet Coke is not something I'm currently willing to fight that hard for. As you may have heard, it's often hard for us Americans to fight for putting healthy food into our bodies. Conversely, if you or I were diagnosed with cancer, I bet we'd be willing to fight tooth and nail for our health, for our survival, and would vigorously fight against cancer. We likely wouldn't put a single unhealthy ingredient into our bodies. It's a weird human dynamic that we will fight harder against something that negatively affects us, but won't fight nearly as hard for something that positively affects us. In my first newsletter, which you can find the link below, I addressed the 3 mega trends that I see affecting sales professionals, sales leaders, and entrepreneurs. Check out scottsthoughts.com for all of our back issues of the newsletter. In newsletter 2, I outlined some of the solutions to these problems and how that might be relevant to you. In today's newsletter, I want to fight back a little bit harder against trend number 1, which is tech companies and businesses moving towards a contactless society. I'll tell you a little bit first about how I got here and why I'm willing to fight back so much against this trend and why it matters to you. I don't want to live in a contactless society and why this matters to you. One of the things I'm willing to fight against is this idea that community no longer matters. I want to fight back against the idea that technology can solve everything and human interaction is now a bug and not a feature in the business world. Looking back on my 25 years in mortgage business, much of my success was defined by a lot of hard work, a desire to build micro communities, and a little bit of luck. Like the villain said in the movie Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, chance favors the prepared mind. I would rephrase that to say that chance or luck favors the business professional who is prepared. My goal in writing this newsletter is to help you learn how to better navigate the changing landscape of our current business world and economy. I want you to have additional tools to build your business, your brand, and your sales pipeline. Side note, while Under Siege 2 Dark Territory is entertaining, it's no match for the 1992 original Under Siege, which took place on a battleship. I rank the original Under Siege, the 1990s Steven Seagal masterpiece, probably in my top 10 action movies of all time. There's also a certain birthday cake scene where if you were a boy of a certain age, it might have been of great interest to me seeing Enrique and Elinek, don't know how to pronounce her last name, pop out of the cake. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I care deeply about the hard work, the micro communities, and the luck that led to a wildly successful career in the mortgage industry. Because, let's be honest, technology and AI evangelists are trying to convince us that these things no longer matter. YouTube is over-indexed with influencers telling you that AI and technology is a magic pill that solves all of your business challenges. Supposedly, AI and tech will alleviate the need for hard work and community in any business vertical. This wasn't true 25 years ago when I started in mortgage, and is not true today. After I got out of the Army, I started as a teller at Washington Mutual Bank. Like everyone else in our industry, that's most sales, mortgage, finance, realtors, very few people grow up thinking they want to be a loan officer or a realtor or an insurance agent or a financial professional. However, life happens, we fall into these jobs, and within a year of working at Washington Mutual, I was doing home loans. I worked hard, I learned my craft, I loved talking to people, and I was good at building relationships. However, there was a secret ingredient to my success that materialized at kind of the perfect time in my career. About a decade into my career as a loan officer, I had built a reputation of being local to the east side of Los Angeles. My parents had grown up in Eagle Rock, California, and I was very familiar with Highland Park, California. As a kid, we bounced around schools and social activities in Eagle Rock, Glendale, Burbank, and the surrounding areas. Back in the 1960s and 1970s, these sleepy east side towns in Los Angeles were mostly defined by auto body shops, textile companies, and a myriad of other manual labor and blue-collar jobs across Colorado Boulevard and Eagle Rock Boulevard. In the 1980s and 1990s, when I was growing up, these were very affordable places to raise a family and weren't nearly as expensive as the west side of Los Angeles. By the time I started my mortgage career in 2001, it felt like a new coffee shop, gastropub, or trendy boutique was opening up weekly in these communities. I made a point to go to all of them. Almost by accident, the corridor between Burbank and Eagle Rock, which is where I decided to build my business, build referral partners, host get-togethers with friends and clients and realtors, became the hot spot of real estate. Shortly after the financial crisis of 2008, the east side of Los Angeles became one of the fastest appreciating markets in all of America. For 5 years in a row, Eagle Rock, Highland Park, Atwater Village, Echo Park, Glendale, Burbank, and other surrounding neighborhoods were named by Redfin as several of the hottest real estate markets in the country. This one news article that I referenced in the newsletter talks about Redfin. Redfin names Eagle Rock as nation's second hottest neighborhood of 2014, with double-digit appreciation gains for the last 3 years. The tailwinds of a hot market helped me go from making $18,000 in 2008, yes, that's $18,000 for the entire year when the market crashed, to just over $1 million in 2016. Sometimes it's a little bit better to be lucky than good. Of course, 2008 kicked me in the ass, as almost no lender in America was willing to fund a home loan. However, I didn't just get lucky because of my geographical relationship with the area. Leading up to the real estate boom, I had been doing all the right things. I didn't just rely on tech and email and text messages, which were becoming the most popular way of communication at the time. I picked up the phone. I built relationships, hosted happy hours, visited open houses to meet new realtors, and delivered in-person education to the professionals who would eventually become those referral partners. It wasn't about building a bigger database necessarily, serviced by a CRM with emails that our corporate office wrote. It was about getting to know the needs, the desires, and the goals of the people I wanted to serve. It was about building in-person micro-communities that would eventually grow into a thriving base of clients and referral partners. And the truth is, the same exact process can still work for you today in any sales industry. I believe that moving to a contactless, faceless, email-only business landscape is a recipe for disaster for most salespeople. To be clear, I love my CRM. I love my contact manager, which I use daily. I enjoy brainstorming with ChatGPT or Claude about business development ideas. The Reach texting app, which is a great app for communication, has made it easier to send out personalized text messages to a larger audience. And most new technology tools create a paralyzing disease amongst salespeople that I call SOS, or shiny object syndrome. The business world is littered with the failed careers of salespeople who mastered their CRM, bought all the new tools, attended the conference, sent all the emails, posted all the right things on social media, but still failed within years of starting their sales career. They were a failure to launch, and they don't even understand why. So why do these tech-savvy people often fail? Because they didn't master having conversations. They didn't master building relationships. They didn't know how to build micro communities or referral partners, they didn't understand how to build micro communities of referral partners and clients. They never got in the habit of making calls and connecting with people. The ongoing power of face-to-face meetings. I'm frequently talking to my coaching clients, sales leaders, and other entrepreneurs about the power of meeting face-to-face, about building micro communities. This isn't just my opinion. This topic has been well studied. An article that I referenced in the Harvard Business Review from October 2025 by Shastri and Lorimer effectively begged sales teams not to undervalue the power of face-to-face with customers. The term or the name of the article was Sales Teams Don't Undervalue Face-to-Face Time with Customers. Easy enough. Some insight from the article affirmed what I've been coaching sales professionals on for years. The authors, Prabhkanut Sinha, Arun Shastri, and Sally Lorimer, makes a point that feels totally obvious, but I believe that a lot of companies are missing. When the client or referral partner situation is complicated, you do not win from behind a screen or behind email. They point to Microsoft, John Deere, and several other companies that sell complicated or expensive products or services. The patterns for success have become very clear. Being physically present builds trust faster. You notice things you would have never caught on a Zoom call. You uncover problems that the client did not think to mention. You spot opportunities that do not show up in a CRM data field. Digital tools can give you reach, it can give you data, but when relationships stay purely digital, it gets watered down, it becomes fragile, and we become easy to replace. Meanwhile, the competitor who is willing to get in the car, shake hands, grab a beer, play a round of golf, or just walk on site is quietly taking market share from those who sit behind their email. This salesperson who's willing to get out there and meet people face to face is winning by building micro communities that are rooted in trust with clients and referral partners. I believe that a lot of modern sales teams are accidentally talking themselves out of the one advantage that still works in any market: showing up. We have convinced ourselves that speed and convenience equals effectiveness. Sometimes they do, but when someone is making a high stakes decision to work with a potential referral partner or trusted advisor, in person still works best. Zoom is a relatively good second place. More tech, more tools, more AI, more emails is rarely the answer for building trust. Digital communication is great for follow-up, quick answers, and staying top of mind. It is not great at replacing the trust that is built when you sit across from somebody, read the room, and have the conversation that actually needs to happen. In person, you get the nuance, you get the pauses, you get the side comments or the side eyes, you get the real story and can adjust your sales process accordingly. So after nearly 2,000 words on the topic, I guess what I'm really trying to say is what I'm willing to fight back against is this idea that business environments can be sterile, that they can be contactless, that they have to be void of community. Building micro community has worked for me. It's worked for hundreds of my coaching clients, and it can work for you. Even if you feel lost, just get started. Organize a happy hour. Block out some time on your calendar to have lunch with at least one referral partner or potential client every week. Take a look at the last 20 people you texted and see if you can do something fun together. Surprise the people you count on to help generate revenue by stopping by their office with a coffee. Have a barbecue at your place and invite a few referral partners over that you get along with. Do some educational training in person. Just do something strategic to get in front of your ideal client or referral partner. You likely know what to do. You've just fallen into the technology trap of thinking electrons and emails can do relationship building for you. My invitation to you is this. If you are feeling any of the stuff that we talked about on this episode, or if you're a subscriber to the newsletter, please email me, scott@scottsthoughts.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I personally read each and every response. Hearing from you would mean the world to me and make sure that I'm crafting this newsletter to best serve you. And as a bonus, I will do my best to respond to every single one of you individually. Till the next time I have a couple hours to think, this is Scott. Thanks.